I was sitting in this blank space just before we started our renovations and trying to think, what are we going to call this restaurant? And, the person that I was sitting with said, well, what does food mean to you? And I said, okay, it means food is love, food is medicine, food is family, sharing, community, ceremony, feasting. And then we both just stopped and looked at each other and we said, feast. That was it. So, and then we decided to call it Café Bistro because we wanted to highlight that we are a day place and then also an evening spot to come, for customers to come to. I've spent the last 25 years reconnecting to my culture through food. So it started with just incorporating one or two ingredients. Once I started discovering what are our traditional foods, what are specific to Manitoba, and things like squash. I would see them at the grocery store and never go near it because I didn't know what it was until I knew what it was. It was one of the three sisters, which is the beans, corn, squash. So my menu kind of evolved with learning how to cook at home. Trying to incorporate as many traditional foods that I was learning about into my everyday meals. So the menu at Feast really is a collection of that. Menu items that people are familiar with, like bannock pizza instead of just a regular pizza, putting squash on it and pine nuts and maple and different, indigenous ingredients on that pizza to make it my own. It was really important for me to have Manitoba bison, number one. Sometimes I will bring products, from my own garden. We work with a lot of local indigenous communities for a lot of our products, like our wild rice, sometimes our Saskatoons, our pickerel. We really want to support our local indigenous communities first and foremost. I have no beef on my menu. I do on the catering menu as an option, but in the restaurant from day one, 10 years ago, I only had bison. And I have to say it was one of the first restaurants in the country to only have bison, but I really needed to stand for that traditional food and that animal and the health of it and the fact that it teaches us so much about resilience and strength and the nutritional value of bison and Manitoba bisons. We have a local gardener here in the West End who grows us some of our traditional vegetables, like our heritage squash. And sometimes like our sweetgrass, for example, that gets harvested, throughout our prairies. So, we kind of source from as much as we can locally from Indigenous communities. Then we go into the local farmers, and then we go beyond that. There's so much that's local and foraged that we can start introducing to our menu. And we do, seasonal specials and things like that where we incorporate different things that we can get seasonally harvested at that time. But it's a challenge all the time, and we're trying to be creative and continuing to evolve. Well, I think we can all be honest to say that a lot of our traditional Indigenous, First Nation, and Métis foods are rooted in a lot of negative things like poverty, diabetes, suicide, all of that negative stuff. So I really wanted to create new positive food pathways around our traditional foods and our history and our community and celebrate that in a restaurant to just kind of revive that negative stigma. I think we can all agree that Feast is more than just a restaurant, and it has been since day one. We have a free soup and bannock program every single day from 2 till 5. We have a lot of plants in the restaurant, so if you don't finish your water, we're going to use that to water the plants. So we're just really mindful of the environment and Mother Earth and food waste and all that kind of stuff. When I think about the next year to 2 years to 5 years, it's been a long time dream of mine to expand on different things, educational videos or recipes, or maybe a cookbook, maybe a second location, to continue to go on this journey in this restaurant business and continue to, you have to admit there's 1 or 2 or 3 restaurants in the entire country of Canada. It's growing slowly but surely. So I really want to keep having a strong voice in our hospitality industry for restaurants. lot of our staff are, First Nations and Métis peoples from different communities, and just all of us coming together in this space to try and really celebrate who we were and who we are and who we will continue to be, especially in the hospitality industry. The history that Feast is trying to preserve is not only just with the food and the ingredients. It's to remember our ancestors, to remember our culture, to remember our past, to celebrate that, to share Indigenous artwork here and Indigenous music here, and celebrate different communities here.